The most immediate thing I see on the horizon in terms of like the near future of addiction is consequences of what we're doing now with addiction. So we've had a gigantic opiate crisis in the United States. I mean, unprecedented, really. And one of the things that we've done to save people's lives, understandably, is we've approached it from a governmental level and an institutional level. Our approach has been harm reduction, which means finding medications that reduce the amount of harm caused by heroin and oxy and these other drugs. And so the consequence of that is we are going to have a generation of young people, or some percentage of this next generation, that is on either an opiate blocker or an opiate substitute. The most common is called Suboxone or Subutex. And the first crisis we're going to deal with in terms of the future of addiction is we're going to have hundreds of thousands or even millions of people who have been on Suboxone or Subutex for 3, 4, 5, 10 years. And we don't really understand on that scale the effects of those drugs long-term on the individual. We don't know how that affects people's development over the long term. You know, what happens when you put an 18-year-old on Suboxone? How does that affect their development when they're 24? Maybe it's hardly at all. Maybe it's a really big deal, and we don't really know. But my guess is it's something we're going to have to deal with as people start to have mental health problems years out in their development, maybe in relation to the Suboxone. The question is going to be, how do we get these people off of this drug? And what I found in my own experience in treatment is it's actually harder to come off of Suboxone than it is to come off of heroin. That's actually well known. If you've been on Suboxone for a long period of time, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, the detox is horrendous, and often the depression is really heavy and lasts months, if not years. And so the immediate future of addiction looks like, what are we going to do with this group of people who we've put a Band-Aid on their situation, which we had to do so that they wouldn't die, but they didn't completely heal. And they're now on this medication, maybe for life, or maybe they want to get off, and what do we do? So that's an immediate crisis that will be in the headlines in a couple of years.